I'm Sign Guy Dudley. And when I finally speak and hold my signs, I do it for SK Wrestling only, the best informative source on the internet about people like me, big wrestling superstars.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? I am your host, Lee Walker, and as you can tell from that show opener, joining me today, I have Sign Guy Dudley. Sign Guy, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. What's happening?
Oh, man, I am doing great. Just Buffalo Bills playing a few minutes, a few hours, so hoping they can
Oh, are
defeat
you
Pittsburgh.
located in Buffalo?
No,
Where are you
I,
located?
I I am in New York. I'm
Okay,
3 hours from there. I'm right on Lake Ontario in Oswego.
gotcha. I was going to ask if you were a Sabres fan, and then I was going to feel bad for you. So you said
I,
Bills, but
I, I I was a Sabres fan when they had Dominic Hasek.
oh my gosh, you're the glory years.
Yeah, the 90s.
Yeah,
Um, that's when they were their best. But
they were for sure.
yeah, and one thing that I kind of really like when it comes to the Dudley boys, everybody knows Bubba Ray and Devon. Everybody knows Spike Dudley. I feel though that sometimes fans forget that there is a long list of Dudleys. A not only just a long list, but the family history behind the Dudleys is quite unique.
There is.
Uh, it all started off with Dudley Dudley, who was the purest form of Dudley because he was the only one who had parents with the both last name of Dudley. And then there's some
Yeah.
other ones: Snot Dudley, Big Dick Dudley, Dances with Dudley, Chubby Dudley, Sign Guy Dudley.
Somehow made
You
the cut.
so originally you were like a plant in the crowd, and they had you with the most notorious ECW fans, like the
Yeah.
Hat Guys, or even the original Sign Guy who was in the audience, is a way to like build up the whole Dudley storyline. Uh, Early on, when this whole thing was going on, was there a particular way to which this storyline was supposed to go?
Yeah, I think we were going to keep expanding the Dudley Boys because there was quite an extensive list of ideas
Hmm.
that Tommy and Taz, and then eventually Raven for sure. I mean, Raven came up with the gimmick, even though people will argue that, but Raven came up with me for sure. So he had the whole Hanson brothers idea, but yeah, it was going to go a little bit further, but things kind of changed as they do in wrestling, where once they brought Devon in and Bubba and Devon, Bubba was still a baby face, Devon was the heel. But you start seeing the chemistry in their matches against each other. So it only made natural sense to put them together. In fact, I think, when they finally turned Bubba heel and myself, that was kind of the night at the arena. That was almost, from what I understand now, it was like the last kind of straw per se, where it was like, they didn't know what they were going to do with the gimmick. Bubba and Devon were like fantastic together, but the fans in Philadelphia, I don't know if you ever saw a show in Philadelphia, but it's tough. And that's kind of like the ultimate place you get judged. And we were having our moments, but we were also having some trouble. I would say that one night it changed was when Bubba hit his first Bubba cutter.
Hmm.
And I remember people just going nuts, and they looked at him very differently after that fact. And then, him and Devon start tearing it up. And then, yeah, but to answer your question, yeah, there was more. I'm trying to think of some. I think there was definitely some of the guys were going to become Dudleys. Some of the guys that weren't in ECW at the time. But yeah, I was going to go that direction. I think with Paul's booking, like he just saw it a little differently, where we're kind of going the course of what we were doing, but turning those guys, turning Bubba and myself heel and putting the Bubba and Devon together and keeping Spike as the face was the way to go. Because there was so much unexplored with Bubba, and I remember his conversations with Paul pretty well, where Bubba was like, I can talk, I can like rip these guys apart, because he's like always said he's a natural heel. And I
Yeah.
never saw him like that, because him and I were instant friends because of the same taste in music, all kinds of stuff. But I did see it in other areas, so it made complete sense.
All right. All
And
right.
that's where it went.
All right. Yeah, because I was always curious because in the beginning there were so many Dudleys, and then even like before, Spike came in, some had already left. Like Dudley had left,
Yeah,
Dances with Dudley had left, Chubby Dudley had left, and unfortunately, Snot Dudley had a jet ski accident that kind of took him out of the wrestling
Yeah,
game.
yeah, totally.
So, and now knowing, that there was going to be a different alternative for the Dudleys. One of the things that I had noticed, going back and watching old ECW tapes, I was a tape collector back then.
Oh, I have about 700 in my garage if you want them. I don't know if they have value or not. I used to collect before I was like, and I did throughout the time I was in the business too. I mean, it's the best way to learn. So
yeah. So who had the idea of putting the Dudleys as part of Raven's Nest?
Raven.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Raven had a lot of creative control, and I think mainly because his ideas were just, was fantastic. And
Yeah.
Stevie the lackey, and then Beulah from camp, and I'm sure Tommy's involved in all that too. I don't want to say just Raven, but that was definitely, to put the Misfits together,
Okay.
and Raven kept the Misfits kind of going after the Dudleys kind of got out of that. There was a bunch of guys like Lupus was there with the Love Doll, and I think it was him, but yeah, and there was a lot that happened. But that was Raven's idea, and then it kind of just branched off. I forget where it branched off. It was pretty early because I don't remember if I ever worked with Raven in the beginning. I know I worked with him in the end when I was Louis Dangerously, but unless I'm skipping something, or missing something, I don't think it was very long that it was together.
Yeah, yeah. And so most managers, when they're involved with wrestling, they're a mouthpiece for those that they're managing. What was it like to be a manager who didn't speak but did his speaking in other ways with the signs?
Yeah, it was definitely unique, and it was different. That's for sure, right? And here's the thing about that gimmick, with I don't think a lot of people know, is that it wasn't supposed to last long. It was kind of a rib, it was a rib on the guy, Paul in the front row, Paul
Hmm.
Mellis, I believe his name is, and it was because Raven wanted to poke fun at him. So Sign Guy Dudley was kind of invented from there, but I took it really seriously, and like it was probably meant to be like 3 months, but
Hmm.
I had an opportunity like that. I was already working for the company, writing the program or helping Gabe write the program, just very, very minimally. That was Gabe's baby, but doing ringside photos and basically doing promo or like anything we could do. But then I start going the rest. They kind of saw as we went that I could be part of that, because I just showed the drive to do it. I
Yeah.
didn't like, it was, you don't get paid a lot in the beginning and never got paid a lot anyway. But, the point was, it was something I wanted to do and something I invested my time in. So I didn't know how long it was going to go. That's for sure. I just didn't think it'd go as long as it did, which was the whole run of the company. And even after they left.
You were able to manage them while they reigned supreme in the ECW tag team world with
Yeah.
8 championships. What was it like, for the first time to be able to do that?
It was crazy because it's we knew what we were doing. It was a month before Barely Legal that we beat or they beat the Eliminators, we beat the Eliminators, whatever. And we knew it was transitional. We knew they just wanted to do the title change on the pay-per-view. But the way that got over in that quick, month with the house shows, and people like really were pissed. I mean, it was awesome to be part of. But I remember really very clearly the night they won the belts, and the night we all drove back to the hotel together after doing promos. And
Hmm.
we all just had a moment. We were all in my car. I don't know if Love and Devon remember this, but I have a really strange memory. I remember everything. I remember, opening my hatchback, whatever, and grabbing the belts. And I'm like, guys, this is fucking awesome. You guys earned this. And it's a work, it's, whatever. But the point is like, that is something. And I
Yeah.
believed in ECW, like for them to have that to run with was awesome. And as we went on and, lose them, win them, drop them, whatever, it was always an awesome feeling because people never really knew in ECW the way it was booked. We do the house show title changes, all the old school stuff. So,
Yeah.
but the first time was pretty awesome.